All right, everyone, here we are with the 1989 CR500. This is the TNT Moto 2022 project bike. We're going to be tearing this bike completely down to the frame and completely restoring it all the way up to the top. I'm going to try and keep as close as I can to OEM. Finding parts is going to be a challenge. I don't think the 89s were imported into Canada at all. That's what I was told. So I'm going to have to get all my parts out of the States or Europe or Australia. There is a lot of good parts on this bike, so hopefully I'm not going to have to look for too much. Now, when I bought this bike, I didn't really go over it that well, and I'm sure we're going to run into some surprises, and hopefully they don't cost me too much. All right, let's get at it. Now, for the most part, as I'm tearing this bike down, I'm not going to be doing a lot of talking. We're just going to zip through. But when I come across something that I feel is going to be an issue, or I'm kind of surprised by what I find, I'll let you know and we'll have a quick little chat about it. Okay, well, we've come to our first surprise already, and that did not take too long. As you can see, we've got a broken radiator mount right there. This is not going to be a big problem because I plan to change out these rods anyway. Alright, so I've come across the very first part that concerns me about being able to find an OEM one. I'm not sure if this is actually an OEM silencer or not. It may be. I know it's got an Answer sticker on it, but that doesn't mean that it's an Answer product. I don't actually see Answer stamped in it anywhere, so it could be an OEM one. The problem is it's been busted up pretty good along the back. It's been re-drilled. The center's been pushed down inside, so it's not a reusable product. It's been welded up over here. So if you've got one of these and you would like to sell it for this build, you can get a hold of me on TNT Moto on Facebook, or you can email me through tntmotobiz@hotmail.com. and I would be more than happy to purchase it from you. I'm looking for an OEM one as priority number one. If not, then I'll look at an aftermarket product. All right. at the second part that I have a little bit of concern about. The overall condition of this pipe is pretty amazing considering its age. It does have quite a few dents in it, but the pipe itself is very solid. There's no rust that is not just surfaced. There's no cracks in any of the welds or anywhere else in the pipe itself. So the overall quality of the pipe is good, except for all of the dents. Now we've got a fair amount of denting out here. We've got, let's see, underneath, we're actually pretty good underneath. We got one there, another one there, and a bit across the front here. So I think what I'm going to wind up doing is trying to restore this pipe myself. I haven't done a pipe yet. I've had other people do all of my pipe restorations. My last one was done by a man named Wally Rutledge. He lives on the Lower Mainland here and does amazing work. He actually welded up the YZ490 pipe, and it was just outstanding when it was done. It looked like another welded seam on the pipe. So I will consider bringing this into him, but first I want to try and do it myself. This is the first time I'll be attempting something like this. right, so we're going to stop right there for a minute, and we're just going to talk about what we're looking at. So if you have a look at that, you can see that this case went through some welding. Now, for anyone that doesn't know about the CR500 or any big bore two-stroke, they take a lot to kick over. There is a lot of compression in that cylinder, and what most people do is they get a button put in on the cylinder on the top of the head to relieve some of that compression so that that does not happen. So if you look, not only is the outer case welded up, but so is the right case half. And although this bike kicks over fine and the inside is, probably okay, it does not have the visual appearance that I'm looking for. So I am going to have to get a new right hand case half and a new outer cover. Now, both of these parts you can still get. It's just a cost. That outer cover is probably about $250 Canadian, and the right hand case is probably somewhere around $550 Canadian. Now, considering to buy a motor like this, you're probably looking at about $3,000. Having to pay $750 for some lower engine parts is not that big of a deal, as long as everything inside is still fine. Now, I haven't had any issues riding this bike, so I don't think that there is going to be any inside issues. And when I bought the bike, I was told that basically the whole top end was rebuilt after maybe like 20 hours on the bike. So when we pull that cylinder apart, we're going to have a look at whether or not we even need to do any rebuilding, or if we just have to change out the rings. So let's continue on removing the swing arm, and then we'll get the motor out of here. Alright, so unfortunately my camera was off when I pulled the motor out of the frame and put it on the bench, but not a lot to be seen there, other than it was a bit of a struggle with me because of the sheer weight of this thing. When I put this motor back in the frame, I'm definitely going to put it in there with a lot less components on it. It probably won't have the clutch in it. Put that in after. No rotor, maybe no cylinder head, no intake, no reed valve, no sprocket, etc., because it does fit rather snug inside that frame, and it was a bit of a challenge to get it out, and I don't really want to scratch anything up putting it back in. Alright, so that's going to wrap up this video of the 1989 CR500 teardown. I want to thank everybody for coming out and watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, leave some comments, share with friends, and I'll catch you all next video.